All right, so you want to turn your love of reading into, an actual paycheck.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Right, so we're diving deep into all these narrator websites to help you uh, figure out which ones are, actually worth your time.
It's a jungle out there. Lots of options.
It is.
So for this deep dive, we're starting with a YouTube video.
Okay.
It's called These Legit Websites Pay You $800 a Day to Read. Worldwide, always hiring.
Catchy.
Right. It's from a channel called Superhuman's Life. Now, obviously, we always say check out multiple sources, but this one's good for a basic overview. And it gives us 5 metrics to compare all these websites.
I like a good metric. Lay it on me. What are we looking at?
Okay, so first, we got reputation and credibility.
Makes sense.
Like, is the platform legit? Then, user experience,
Mm-hmm.
easy to use. We got to think about book selection, of course. For narrators, that's huge.
Obviously.
And then, the big one, payment and compensation.
The bottom line.
Right. How much can you actually make? And then, finally, support and community. Support's nice.
Does the platform help you succeed?
Got it.
So we're going to use those 5 pillars to, check out each platform. And the thing is, you might care about some of those more than others.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, if you are just starting out, you might not be as worried about, community as you are about whether or not you can find work, for instance.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start with ACX,
Okay.
the one that everyone's probably heard of,
Yeah.
because it's owned by Amazon.
Which right away, that gives us some credibility.
Yeah.
Like, you trust it a little bit more. The YouTuber gave him a 4 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, which is pretty good.
Not bad.
And that's probably because, Amazon. But keep in mind, ACX is just for audiobooks.
Right.
So you're working with that massive Amazon, listener base.
Huge. Okay, so we trust the platform, probably. But
Yeah.
what about using it? What did they say about the user experience?
Okay, so for user experience, they got a 4 out of 5.
So making a profile, uploading samples, browsing for books, it's all pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Not perfect. They mentioned some, little glitches here and there, a little clunky maybe. But overall, it seems pretty manageable.
Manageable. Okay, good. I
Uh-huh.
can handle manageable. Now the library. I am guessing it's big. It's Amazon.
Oh, yeah. They got a 5 out of 5 for book selection.
Wow.
The variety is huge,
That's what I'm talking about.
which is like the beauty of ACX. You can really niche down and find exactly the kind of books that you want to narrate. Mysteries, romance, whatever, you name it, they got it.
Perfect. Okay, so the big question.
Yeah.
How's the pay?
Yeah.
Can we actually make $800 a day like that YouTube video says?
Okay, let's talk payment.
Yes.
They got a 4 out of 5 on ACX for this.
You're right.
Here's the deal. You set your own rate per finished hour.
Wait, per finished hour. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so it's not like a regular hourly rate.
Right, I was going to say.
A finished hour is the length of the final audio file, not how long it takes you to actually record and edit.
Oh, okay. So it could take, way longer.
Oh, yeah, it could take 6 hours, maybe even more, to produce just 1 hour of finished audio.
That's really important to know. Okay, so how do we even know what to charge? I mean, $500 an hour sounds amazing, but
Well, they did mention some folks making $500 per finished hour, but, that's probably top tier, right?
Right.
They're like super experienced narrators, amazing audio quality. You're competing with other narrators, so got to be competitive, but also, know your worth.
so there's no magic number.
Not really.
Okay. And besides per finished hour, are there any other ways to make money on ACX? Like, what about those bonuses they talked about?
Yeah, the bonuses. There's the royalty share model. You split royalties with the author.
Interesting.
Could be good or bad, right?
Yeah.
Depends how well the book does. And then there's bonuses, for good reviews, finishing early, that kind of thing.
So you're kind of partnering with the author,
Yeah.
hoping for a hit. Okay, so there are ways to boost your income.
Yeah.
But what about actually doing the work? What about support? Do they just throw you in the deep end?
No, actually, they got a 4 out of 5 for support and community, which is good. They got tutorials, training videos, even a forum where you can chat with other narrators, ask questions, all that.
That's awesome, especially if you're new to all this. So it sounds like ACX is, a real contender.
Yeah.
Especially if you just, love the idea of having all those books to choose from.
Yeah, totally. Lots of potential there.
But we got 4 more platforms to look at, and, they all have their pros and cons.
For sure. What works for one person might not work for another.
Right, exactly. So let's keep going. Welcome back. Okay, so we just went through 5 narrator websites. And I don't know about you, but my head is, spinning.
Yeah, it's a lot to absorb, for sure. But we have to remember that YouTube video is, just one guy's take.
Yeah, it's like one perspective. Yeah. Like you wouldn't buy a new phone based on one review.
Right. You want to see what everybody else is saying.
Yeah. And one thing the video didn't really get into is like marketing.
Yeah, personal branding. That's huge no matter what platform you choose.
Yeah, because it's not enough to just like make a profile and then just sit there and like wait for the offers to come pouring in.
No, you got to put yourself out there.
Totally.
It's like you're running a business, right? You're a freelancer. You got to build your brand. You got to market yourself.
It's not just about having a good voice. It's about like the whole package.
Yeah, presentation, the whole 9 yards.
So how do we do that?
Well, you got to be online, right? Got to have a website, social media, network with authors, publishers, other narrators,
Okay, so like actually building relationships.
Yeah, it's not just about uploading a few demos and calling it a day. You got to engage, show your personality, show you're passionate, all that. People want to work with someone they like, someone who's professional.
They got to trust you, basically. Show that you're serious. Okay, so we got to stay on top of this stuff.
Yeah, and remember, things change, right? What's hot today, maybe not so much tomorrow.
Right. New platforms pop up, old ones update.
Exactly. You got to adapt, stay informed, keep learning.
Always be learning. So maybe you're trying different platforms, different genres, taking workshops.
Yeah.
Learning how to edit better, even getting better equipment for recording.
Yeah. Invest in yourself. It's a process.
Ongoing.
All the time. And, becoming a successful narrator, it takes time.
Oh, yeah. It's not like some get-rich-quick scheme.
Definitely not. You got to be dedicated, persistent, and, truly love doing it.
Passion, baby. Passion.
Yeah. And you got to be realistic about the downsides, too, right? You're going to get rejected. You got to manage your time. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses.
Yeah, it's like any creative field, right? You got to take the good with the bad.
But think about the rewards, though. Bringing a story to life with your voice, connecting with people, is powerful stuff.
It is.
And you're creating something entertaining, inspiring. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh.
And don't forget the flexibility. You're your own boss.
Right. You choose your projects, your schedule, design your own career, basically.
Okay, so for those who are truly passionate about it, the rewards can be huge.
Definitely. Oh, and one more thing. The skills you learn as a narrator, they're useful everywhere, not just in your career.
Totally.
Like being able to communicate clearly, engaging an audience, that's valuable in any situation.
Yeah. Presentations, public speaking, just everyday conversation. Suddenly you're like the most interesting person in the room.
Right. So even if you don't end up doing narration full time, it can still make a huge difference in your life.
Totally. So for all those aspiring narrators out there, what advice would you give them? Like if they wanted to start building their brand right now, what should they do?
Okay, first things first. Figure out your niche. What are you passionate about? What kind of voice do you have? What makes you stand out? Once you know that, you can start building your brand.
Okay, so step one, know yourself.
Exactly. Then get yourself a website. Show off your work. Doesn't have to be fancy, just clean, professional. Gotta have some good demos on there.
Okay, online portfolio, check.
No.
What else?
Social media. Gotta be active, engage with people, build those relationships. Authors, publishers, other voice actors, everyone.
Right, network.
Yes. Tell your friends and family what you're doing, too. Word of mouth is powerful. And don't be afraid to ask for advice from other narrators. People are usually happy to help, especially in this field.
Community is key.
It is. And remember, be patient. This stuff takes time. You're not going to be a superstar overnight. Don't get discouraged if you don't get your dream gig right away. Just keep practicing, keep marketing, keep putting yourself out there.
Love it. It's the marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Got it. And we're back, part 3 of our deep dive. So hopefully by now you're feeling ready to jump into this whole narrator thing.
I hope so. We've talked about a lot, reputation, user experience, all that good stuff. We even got into marketing yourself.
Yeah, because you got to, treat it like a business if you want to make it work.
Exactly. But before we wrap up, there's one last thing we should probably mention. It's something the YouTuber touched on a bit but didn't really go deep into, and that's the sheer variety of work out there in the world of voiceover.
Yeah, right. We've been focusing on audiobooks this whole time, but there's so much more you can do with your voice.
Oh, yeah. Way more. Remember Voices.com and Bunny Studio?
Mm-hmm.
They have all kinds of projects, commercials, video games, e-learning, even those AI voice assistants you hear everywhere.
It's wild how much is out there. And, having all those options, that's actually a good thing for beginners.
For sure. Even if you're dead set on narrating books, being able to do other things makes you way more marketable.
More skills, more options, right?
Yeah, exactly. All those skills you learn doing audiobooks, pacing, tone, all that, it's all useful for other types of voiceover.
It's like having a toolbox, right?
Yeah.
Different tools for different jobs.
Yeah. Exactly. And who knows, you might even find out you love doing something else even more than audiobooks. You
Right.
never know till you try.
Right. And, you know, even though we've given you all this info, at the end of the day, you got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah. The perfect platform, it's different for everyone. What we've talked about, it's a starting point. You got to do your own research too, check out those websites, read reviews, maybe even talk to some narrators, see what they say.
Word of mouth is good.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to, like, try things out. Maybe a platform you weren't sure about at first turns out to be, like, the perfect fit. The important thing is to stay curious, you know?
Keep learning, keep exploring. All right. So I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of narrator websites.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're feeling a bit more confident, a bit more excited to get started.
Me too.
Yeah.
But if you're still feeling a little overwhelmed, there's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of successful narrators, they use multiple platforms.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. You can kind of like combine the best of each one, right? Build your own little voiceover empire.
Exactly. It's not all or nothing. You can use what works for you.
So keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep using that voice to share some amazing stories.
That's what it's all about.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, and happy narrating.